Hey y'all, Farmer Kevin here. I am out here feeding the cows. I decided to do a little pasture update video and I'm feeding out the dry hay. You can kind of see here I've got a bunch of dry hay spread out. Got the whole herd out. They've been grazing during the day, and then usually once, maybe twice a day, depending on where we're at in the different fields. During the winter time here, we feed dry hay. And I just wanted to talk about, like, well, why do I feed dry hay during the winter time? Especially here in California. You can see, we've got glorious sunny California here. I get to graze outside 365 days a year. But yet, here I am, I've got grass to graze, but I'm feeding dry hay. So I'm feeding, stored grass that was cut, midsummer last season, and refeeding that out now. And I just kind of wanted to sit and talk a little bit about, like, how do you feed cattle? Because the common thought is that, cows eat grass, right? And it's part of the story, right? But the fact of the matter is what they're doing is they're taking grass in and then using the grass as a substrate within their rumens to actually grow the food in which they consume. Because if you look at the macronutrient ratios of, what a cow needs versus what a human needs, we're talking, carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, and they're about the same. It's about the same for most mammals. But grass actually has a relatively low amounts of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. But the microorganisms in their gut, the bacteria and everything that they've got cooking inside their rumen is really what gets them their nutrient needs. It's this remarkable thing. And so I often think about feeding cattle is kind of like making a compost pile, right? In composting, you've got your greens and your browns, right? You've got your nitrogen and your carbon. And very similarly, when you're feeding cows, you need to have your greens and your browns. So all the old ranchers around here, they call all the grass at this time of year, it's February, January, February, March. They say, oh, that's washy grass. It's mostly water, and there's a lot of that to it. I mean, we've got a lot of water coming down right now. And there's certainly a good moisture content to our grass. But the other thing that it is it's mostly nitrogen. It's mostly protein. And so we need to balance that out with some carbon, some carbohydrates, and kind of, feed that microorganisms, feed the guts, the proper nutrients so that they can actually have a good, healthy, gut microbiome that's going to allow them to ruminate and create all of the nutrients that they need. And oftentimes at this time of year, it's early, late winter, early spring grass. It usually just comes straight out the backside. So putting a little bit of fiber in there helps kind of bind things up and slows it down. And so I can actually get more nutrients out of the grazing by feeding the drier hay. So even though I still have grass, I need to supplement this grass with the dry hay because it'll help bind up, help slow down their guts, helps balance their microbiome, and is just overall better for them, and they'll do better during this kind of colder, wet winter period with the dry hay. So just a nice little pasture update. All the cows out there munching away. Some of them are grazing, some of them are getting the hay, and then we're doing good. Hopefully we don't get too much more rain in this big storm, and we don't wash away. But take care, y'all.